Hey everybody, welcome back to our weekly interview with the Delhi Eagle alumni. And this week is a very special treat. I have the chance to interview a local legend, Mr. Mike Price, who is known probably most for his basketball coaching career at Oak Hills High School for the last, how many years have you been coaching?
47.
47 years, but maybe what you don't know about him is that he is a born and raised Delhi kid and went on to teach here at Delhi for the first part of his career. So, Mike, thanks for coming in and doing the interview with us.
Thank you for allowing me the opportunity.
Yeah.
It's an honor and a pleasure.
Yeah, so tell me, Mike Price, when did you come to Delhi Junior High, I guess it was at the time, right?
Yeah, it was, I guess, 69 to 70. It was back when the junior high years we had grades 7 through 9, and I went to C.O. Harrison up through grade 6 and then started here then and spent 3 of my best years educationally at Delhi.
Yeah, so tell me tell me about Mike Price as a junior high kid.
First of all, my main memory is I came here. I love basketball. I wasn't very good at any other sports, but the 7th grade year I was cut from the 7th grade team.
Really?
It was sort of it was a little bit of a drastic experience because I'd never been cut before. Even in baseball, everybody made the team in knothole and so forth. So I'd never been cut. So it actually helped me in terms of a couple things. One, it helped me understand what that feels like. And
Sure.
As a head coach now, that's one of my most hated experiences when I have to tell kids they can't do something and cut them. But it also helped me, it caused me to really work a lot harder. And it created a work ethic in me that I don't think would have been created had I made the team that year. And I worked extremely hard. I had my parents' backing. I had the ability to play with a lot of my friends back then who weren't on the basketball team as well.
Yeah.
I created a lot of friendships at that time too. A lot of friendships from people who actually are really involved in the district right now. Bob Murphy, Scott Sims, Joe Rothwell, they're all involved in the district somehow, and those people all went to Delhi and I formed friendships with them because I didn't go to CO with them. So I was able to create friendships that way as well.
That's very cool. That's awesome. So who would have thought, right? Coach Price
Right.
would have been cut from a 7th grade basketball team. You and Michael Jordan, right?
Yeah, no, not even close. I'd like to say yes, but not even close.
That's funny. So thinking about your teachers, was there a teacher that kind of had a big impact on you while you were here?
Well, I think
Or coach, maybe?
there's two. I think the one person who had an impact on me in terms of basketball was a guy named Tom Hammonds. He took an extreme interest in me, started to get me to play open gym because he recognized I was probably going to be tall. So Tom Hammonds was the one who really helped me so much with basketball, and he would get me into open gym. He would allow me to play with adults, even though I was bad back then, wasn't very good. But he kept encouraging me and getting me to play, and I give him a lot of credit for my development, not only as a player but as a coach as I got older, because he took interest in me, and I think I genuinely appreciate his efforts. And then the teacher is sort of odd because I'm not really a biology major, but the teacher was a guy named Bob Liggett, who lived about 50 minutes away down in Kentucky off of I-71, but the stretch between Louisville and where I-75 breaks off. He lived that far away, drove to school every morning. He was a biology teacher. He was very, very dedicated to biology, loved biology. He made us very detail-oriented, very disciplined. The funny thing about him, he kept telling us he had a grading machine in his barn because he lived on a farm. A grading machine in his barn. If your lab reports weren't very, very good and very detail-oriented and very specific, then he said the grading machine chewed up your paper, and he would send you back a crumpled up paper if your work wasn't done correctly. And he was a very, very tough teacher, but I think I loved him because he did make us work harder and make us work better as students, become more efficient and work together, and I loved him for that. And I thought a lot of teachers here had an influence on me, but I think those two in particular stick out.
That's really cool. I've heard a lot of people talk about Mr. Liggett.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he lived so far away.
He was a unique man, very unique. He always had the pencils and pens in his pocket. He always had a white shirt, tie, same pair of pants. We thought it was the same pair of pants. I'm sure he had maybe two. But he was very, very committed to be able to drive that far, run a farm, and still teach biology the way he taught it.
Sure, that's cool. Well, so you go on to the high school, you graduate, and eventually you come back to Delhi Junior High as a teacher. So tell me about that.
Well, I had an opportunity when I went to college. I graduated from Wittenberg, and I majored in economics and business. So I had a double major. But when I started taking graduate classes in business, I determined that I really wanted to teach and coach. So I went back to UC, started to take some education classes. An opportunity opened up here at Delhi with the teacher who taught business principles. It was the same thing as our personal economics class at the High School of Personal Finance.
Mm-hmm.
He left, and there was only one class available, and it's hard to find a teacher who just wants to come in and teach one class a day. But because of my background in education, and I knew the principal and assistant principal, Dick Ernst and Steve Moore, trusted me to come in without much teaching experience and teach that one class, and we turned it into a multiple bell class the next year, and I was able to become full-time. So I love Delhi. We had some interesting characters here at Delhi at that time. We had Jack Schulte and Bill Parker and Joe Healy, and again, Tom Hammonds and Brant Coleman were still here, and we just had June Banker too. She was an art teacher who had an influence on me even as a student. I knew her as a student, but when I came back, just some phenomenal people. Our class, our group of teachers was so close, and this building was close, and I think it really helped me. It helped me, number one, I think, understand the camaraderie with teachers and how that helped make the teaching experience so much better. And the second thing is, I think the principal and the assistant principal had great discipline, and they really adhered to what our rules were and helping the kids become good students and good people as well.
Yeah, I think that's really cool, because I even see that, 30 years later now, the Delhi staff has always kind of acted like more as a family than as a staff, and I think that's really cool how the legacy of that has continued over the generations of teachers that have come through here.
Well, we had some fun times. Whether it be a social after school or where we had a golf outing every year, and we did some other things together. It was just our staff played basketball on Thursday nights together, and then went out for a little bit after that. It was just a really, really good experience in terms of having people who were friends, and you just enjoyed coming to work every day, not only because of the students, but because of the people you work with as well.
Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, so final question. You've spent your life as a Delhi kid and a Delhi staff member and a part of this Oak Hills community. How do you see this 100 years? Like, what's Delhi's legacy to you as you think about the last 100 years of educating this community and the families that have grown up here, the generations here?
I think the legacy is what you've talked about a little bit. I think it has to do with family. I think it has to do with being together, teamwork. I think it has to do with having an expectation level. I remember when I was here, Delhi was sort of looked at as a little brother, and Bridgetown was supposed to be the big brother, and it wasn't like that. When I got to high school, and then we started getting test scores and figuring out who was actually the better middle school and junior high. Actually, they were both very good, but I think the legacy is the family part, the expectation level. Delhi has always been a community like that, whether it be the sports, the knot-hole, and the soccer and basketball and everything, but I think it's always been that for me. And then just some people who are blue-collar, hard workers, they're committed, they compete. So I think it's all those kinds of positive things that help you in life, but that's always been Delhi to me, but especially the family part. I think I knew that growing up, because those people are, like I said, my friends are still in my life.
Yeah.
And a lot of the teachers, even to this day, a lot of the teachers who are still around the community but not teaching, obviously, they're still in my life as well. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to be here in our school district in general. We've had so many phenomenal administrators, teachers, students, obviously. It's just been a great experience and honor for me.
Yeah. Well, it's really cool to hear you talk about these things, and then to think about, reflect on you as a coach, right? Attention to detail, a passion for the game, a love, kind of create a family atmosphere. Like, all those things that you grew up and learned and lived at Delhi have become such an integral part of coaching and what's made you such a great coach over the years. So I am very proud and excited that we get to claim you as a Delhi kid.
Thank you. I always thought teaching and coaching to me wasn't just about content, or wasn't about basketball. It was about what you talked about. It's about the future and what you're going to do beyond your sports career. And that's more why I got into teaching and coaching, because I think that's the most important thing that we can help the students with, teaching them the future lessons that they're going to need to be good citizens and be good parents, etc.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mike, for coming in and
Thank you.
interviewing, and we'll be back next week.